Indian military's Operation Sindoor has struck fear into the hearts of Pakistani leaders. Pakistan's defense minister says chances of another war with India are real, but they pray that this time it hopes to do better.
कोई इसकी ऐसी सिचुएशन अराइज हो, चांसेस उसके हैं, उसको मैं बिल्कुल डिनाई नहीं करता.
Asif was immediately mocked on social media with one user asking, "Better result than before का क्या मतलब है? They will lose more bases, terror infra, aircraft and personnel?" Another user claimed that this time 92,000 Pakistani troops will surrender to the Indian army instead of the 93,000 like in 1971. Another called him the most useless defense minister in the world. Khwaja Asif was also given a history lesson on his claims of India not being a united country. But more on that later. The world witnessed how the Indian Air Force was able to smash 11 Pakistani air bases and terror camps in 9 different Pakistani cities with ease. Now reportedly, Asim Munir is once again amassing troops along the border, fearing another Indian onslaught.
मूवमेंट है, उधर वाली साइड भी इल्जाम लगा रही है, तो बिल्डअप तो दोनों तरफ हो रहा है. अब मामलात के
So Pakistani experts claim its military is on alert. Or is Munir actually planning to stoke tensions on the border with India, believing that either the United States or the Saudis would come to save Pakistan? Khwaja Asif actually made one subtle admission in this interview, saying, quote, "At home we argue and compete, but in a fight with India, we come together." So is this the Pakistani plot? To stir up war hysteria deliberately, to provoke India. POK is revolting against Islamabad's rule. Dozens of protesters have lost their lives in military firing in Pakistan-occupied Kashmir. Balochistan and Khyber Pakhtunkhwa are already slipping out of Pakistani hands. There are worries now that Pakistani military leadership could fuel tensions at the border with India to divert attention away from their own internal unrest. They could even stage another terror attack in Kashmir or the rest of India, just like Pahalgam in April this year when 26 Hindu tourists were massacred by an Islamic terror group, or Pulwama in 2019, 2008 Mumbai terror attack or the 2001 Parliament attack, all of which were carried out by Pakistan-backed and sponsored terror groups. Now India won't hold back. Indian Army Chief General Upendra Dwivedi has already vowed to erase Pakistan from the map if there is any Pakistani hand behind another terror attack in India.
भारत देश पूरी तैयारी के साथ है और इस पर वो संयम नहीं रखेगा जो सिंदूर 1.0 में हमने संयम रखा.
Jaishankar has declared Pakistan-occupied Kashmir will one day return to India.
POK, which is a part of India, returns to India. This actually is our national commitment.
While the Indian Defence Minister Rajnath Singh warned Islamabad against militarizing the disputed Sir Creek.
पाकिस्तान को याद रखना चाहिए कि कराची का एक रास्ता क्रीक से ही होकर गुजरता है.
But the best roast of Pakistan comes from the Indian Air Force. To mark its utter dominance over Pakistani skies in the recent war, the menu in the Indian Air Force Day celebrations carried dishes you won't believe it. They were named Rawalpindi chicken, Rafiki mutton, Sargodha dal, Bahawalpur naan and Murid ke meetha pan. These are among the Pakistani air bases and terror headquarters smashed by the Indian Air Force in the recent war. While the Indian Air Force is celebrating its victory with all its pilots safe back home, Pakistan is still peddling a 6-0 fantasy. Khwaja Asif added, "The statements of the Indian military and political leadership are a failed attempt to restore their tarnished reputation after such a decisive defeat with a 6-0 score." Pakistan claims it shot down 6 Indian jets, but if you ask for proof, then they have no images, no visuals, no debris, no pilots, and no eyewitnesses, even in the age of smartphones.
It's all over the social media, on Indian social media, not on our social media.
But this is also an admission by Islamabad of its inferiority against the Indian military. Shooting down even one Indian jet is considered a national victory in Pakistan when 11 of their own air bases lie in ruins. It's no achievement at all. Even the United States lost 2 frontline F-A-18 fighter jets from its aircraft carrier during the campaign against the Houthis in Yemen.
When I was asked about losses on our side. I said these are not important.
But now let's come to why Khwaja Asif needs a history lesson. In an attempt to poke and provoke India, he claimed, quote, "History shows that India was never one united nation except briefly under Aurangzeb. Pakistan was created in the name of God. At home, we argue and compete, but in a fight with India, we come together." Now, Pakistan is such a failed state that its defense minister is now peddling lies. Indian subcontinent has seen many great empires that stretched far beyond today's borders. This is the map of the Indian Mauryan Empire under Emperor Ashok back in 250 BC. It covers the whole of Indian subcontinent, including what's today's Pakistan and parts of Afghanistan. This was followed by the Great Gupta Empire from 320 to 550 AD. This is the map of the Chola dynasty, which extended from South India to rule over Southeast Asia. Asif mentions the Mughals, who did govern large parts of India, but occupied just a brief period of India's long and illustrious history before being defeated and dismantled by the Marathas. Then came British India. Remember, it was called British Indian Empire and not British Pakistani Empire. Why? Because the concept of Pakistan never existed for all of history. Pakistan has no real basis. It's just a failed British experiment to divide India, taken in haste after World War II. Asif questioning India's unity is like saying Germany or France are not united countries because they had independent kingdoms in the past, or that the United Kingdom was never united since Danish Vikings used to rule Britain earlier. Asif, of course, was brutally mocked on social media. It leads us to wonder if Pakistan is similarly distorting history in its own school books. Khwaja Asif also claimed that Pakistan now enjoys more international support than it had before the recent conflict, but he was not specific about who is backing who. We know the US will dump Pakistan again like it did after the war on terror, while Saudis just want Pakistani troops to fight the Houthis.
Beggars can't be choosers.
Will either of them really save Pakistan from India in the next war? The most Pakistan can actually expect are some missiles or drones, all of which will fall short against the Indian military juggernaut in any drawn-out war. The only thing of sense Khwaja Asif said in this interview is that the threat of another war is real, and the ball really is in Pakistan's court. Ensure that no Pakistani-backed terror group carries out another Pahalgam, else no one would be able to save Islamabad from India's vengeance in Operation Sindoor Part 2. Let's take a quick look at how India has won each and every war against Pakistan. These are real images of Indian troops reaching Lahore in 1965 war. Clearly, Pakistan had not invited them and Indian military had the edge. In 1971, Pakistan surrendered in just 13 days of war, with 93,000 Pakistani troops surrendering to the Indian army in what's now Bangladesh. On the other side, Karachi harbor was besieged by the Indian Navy and left burning for days. The 1999 Kargil War saw Pakistani troops again surrender their positions and run back across the border. It is such heavy defeats which has forced Pakistan to support terror groups against India, as well as cook up 6-0 fantasy. Even the imagination of shooting down one Indian fighter jet is now hailed as a national achievement for Pakistan. My advice to any Pakistani viewer watching this is that don't just believe the propaganda of your embarrassed leader or generals. Ask for proof of their claims, and they will have none. The only tactic Pakistani leaders ever had is to spread religious extremism and hate against India and Hindus. But what do you believe? Will Islamabad ever end cross-border terror, or will India need to give another history lesson to Pakistan, this time on the battlefield? Leave a comment with your opinion, hit the like button and subscribe to Inconnect News.